Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is October the 10th, and I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation. Hope you're having a beautiful morning. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation right away and take a look at it. Consequences. October 10th. Before we got clean, most of our actions were guided by impulse. Today, we are not locked into this type of thinking. Basic text, page 90. Ever been tempted to do something when you knew the results would be disastrous? Ever thought about how much it was going to hurt to do what you were tempted to do, then proceeded to do it anyway? It is said that there are consequences to every action. Before we got clean, many of us simply didn't believe this, but now we know exactly what it means. When we act, we know there will be consequences to pay. No longer can we decide to do something in ignorance when we know full well that we won't like the price we'll have to pay. There's a prize and a price. It's okay to act despite the consequences if we're willing to pay the price, but there's always one to pay. Just for today, I will think about the consequences of my actions before I take them. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. A lot of times, I think even before we got clean as well as while we're clean, that would be the only thing that I would really adjust about this particular meditation is that we still sometimes, even in recovery, want to respond impulsively. And sometimes we don't have those check balances in place. And we go ahead and behave impulsively and we pay the price. This meditation is talking about whether or not you're going to intentionally and continually operate in a manner that disregards what you know will have consequences. And the only reason why I can think of a person would actually do that would be that they are in denial. They know there's been consequences in the past and they really don't want to accept that they can't get away with doing what they did before and pay, if not the same price, maybe even a higher price. So that is a level of denial, right? The lie that we tell to ourselves, that we somehow are exempt from having to pay consequences for our behavior. And then the other thing that I think would allow a person, myself, is the best example I can use would be pride. It depends on where I'm at and what is actually going on, what type of circumstance I'm encountering that will determine how much of my self-will tries to rise up, how much pride is involved. I really have a hard time when people are trying to shame me or make me feel in some sort of way that I don't have, I want to say like, that I don't have the ability to perceive a situation for what it is, right? So they may be dismissive in some kind of way about my perception of how I'm seeing things. And that is probably when I will notice pride come up for me more frequently. And then I have to make a decision at that moment. Am I going to push in the same direction that I've pushed frequently, just purely out of pride, and pay the consequences regardless, because I have, of course, here a point to make? Or am I going to allow, right? Allow, because it would purely be if I allow a person to get away with that type of behavior with me. Am I going to allow it because, one, the consequence of me rising up, right, in the manner that I'm thinking in that moment would probably be volatile and very, very aggressive, right? So, and I'm not talking about just saying, I really don't appreciate you talking to me like that. That is not what I'm talking about. My first mind does not always go to being diplomatic. And so a lot of times I have to buckle down. I have to pull and reel myself in because the consequences, whether justifiable or not, are too high for me to pay. I no longer want to pay the price of just being aggressive and sometimes violent, right? I don't want to pay that price anymore. And so that would be an example where I really make sure of my words when I say them. And if I feel pressured to respond, I will more than likely not respond at all, because I know my pressurized response is not very nice. My pressurized response. So if someone is poking and prodding me and trying to get me to just come out of a bag on them, so that will give them an opportunity to say whatever it is that they've been wanting to say, I'll not take the bait because I don't have to, right? I don't believe people have the power. They may think they have power, but I don't think people have the power to make me act and do anything. Act out, act a certain way, talk a certain way. I try to treat every human being the way that I desire to be treated. I was not always like that. And so when I see other people doing that, I can almost see myself doing the same thing. And I think possibly the compassion or my willingness to just observe and not respond has a lot to do with the fact that I've been there and I've done that. And I've had to eat a lot of soul, right? The sole of my foot and my shoe. I've put my foot in my mouth so many times, right? Trying to be forceful and make a point, and today I just choose that's not who I am, and nor do I expect that it ever will be. The most sensitive area that I have will be raising my boys. I'm very, very sensitive about my family. And I don't take kindly to anyone trying to abuse anyone in my family. And it really doesn't matter who it is. And so I know that when it comes to family, even if I'm at odds with that family member, I know that I am not receptive in any kind of way to anyone abusing my family members, because I know who they are and I know where they come from and I know how far they have come. And so sometimes I become very hyper vigilant when it comes to family. And so now today, I understand that that's another area where I have to pull back. Even if I don't want to, I have to pull back because the place that it takes me to is not a healthy place. And so today I consider everything. I don't rip and run and rush out to save the way that I used to. I'm not codependent to the degree that I used to be with people. I try to take time and make sure that every action that I put out there, that I am willing to pay the price. If it's a price that's too high for me, which if I needed to express that to you, I would say a price that is too high, I would have to describe it as one that causes me immediate depression or shame, remorse or embarrassment, or expense, both spiritually, mentally, and financially, and physically. I think I have more of a tolerance physically than in all the other three areas. I will push my physical body to the point where well, whatever point I need to, because I believe in the grace of God allowing me and helping me to do those things that I'm called to serve in. However, in the other three areas, I can tell very easily if I'm getting into debt in those areas, right? Because we're talking about paying a price. And when you're paying a price for something, you are paying a debt, you are paying a bill, you are paying an expense. And I can tell when I am expending or paying a price or going into debt in those three arenas, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, to a degree that I'm not willing to actually put up or pay. And so then I have to retract. And that's why sometimes it's difficult to get me to immediately commit to anything, because my word is my bond. And if I am not sure that I'm going to be able to live up to something or do what I said I would do, if I'm not sure I know the price of lying, the price of making false commitments is a very high price for me in those three areas. And so, too, what I would like for you to do today is just take that personal experience. You can take it for what it's worth, but I think it should be worth something, because a lot of times we're not really thinking about the spiritual price or the mental price or the, even financial, but physically as well. A lot of times we're not thinking about those prices that we do pay a lot of the time. And if you really, really, really are honest with yourself and think about it, a lot of times the reason why we used is because we got too far in. We became indebted in ways that we had not intended. We acted in a manner that caused us a very high price. And when I think about that, I wish for you today that you would think and rethink and think again. I'm not saying that you need to double think everything and second guess everything that you do, but I am saying to you that today, October 10th, let this be a day where when you move forward in the day and you make decisions about what you're going to do, that you have completely prayed and meditated and given consideration to what is involved, what is entailed. Slow down. Slow down. Just because they're calling you does not mean that you need to rush. Unless you have already committed to that particular individual, that if you need me, call me. Now that's different because you know their circumstance. But everyone that has your number and makes a call for help or somehow is pulling on your energy, I'm not going to say they're not deserving. I'm just saying it may not be worth the price, right? It may not be worth the price that you would have to pay. So today I challenge you to start becoming more mature about your decisions, because you're going to be the one that's going to pay the price. No one else. No one else. No one else. There's a lot of people sitting in prison today that are paying the price for unthought out, impulsive act. And I would not want that. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Okay. So I hope that you have a beautiful day. It was awesome talking to you, and I will be talking to you soon for the other meditation, but I will also ask that you have a beautiful day. Please have a beautiful day on purpose.